So Wendy Jobbins, and I was a Lance Corporal in the WRC.
Where are you from and why did you want to get into the army?
So I come from the West Country, from down near Salisbury, and when I was a child I played with brass bands, and someone that was in the brass band actually joined the WRC band as a cornet player, and I thought, that sounds great, I can do my hobby for the rest of my life. So I was sold. So that was it, and from there on I just did everything I needed to do to be able to join the band.
Are you from a military family?
No, not at all.
Musical family?
No.
Really? So how come you got into music then?
I went to the school I went to. I was very lucky. I went to a school that was completely new and had a full range of brass instruments to create a small brass band within the school. And I saw one and thought, that's good, I'm going to do that.
And how old were you?
10.
And your instrument is?
Well, I played trumpet most of the time now, but when I was in the army I played cornet.
So you started playing the trumpet at the age of 10, and you had a kind of a focus to join the WRC. Obviously, you know, as a schoolgirl, you're enjoying your instrument, you're enjoying playing the music, but being a schoolgirl and being a junior military person is quite a transition. What do you remember of joining WRC?
I think the thing that struck me the most was that once I joined the band, actually I wasn't as busy as I thought I was going to be, because I'd been really busy at school. I did A-levels, I used up early in the morning, practicing in the morning. I'd go to school all day. We didn't finish until 4:30, and a bus ride home, and then playing in bands in the evening. So I was always really, really busy. And then when I joined the army and got into the band, you know, we started at 20 to 9 and we finished at 3:30. Wednesday afternoons we did sport. Friday afternoons, when you had your A3, you had the afternoon off. Once you got your A1, you had Tuesday afternoons off. You know, it was a really laid-back lifestyle, if I'm honest.
So what was the sort of process becoming a musician, the WRC? You wanted to be, but how did you become it? I mean, what do you remember of the tests and stuff?
I came up to Guildford, where I was based, and I auditioned to join the band. So you already had to be playing a certain level to be able to audition. I auditioned at 16, just after 16, and they said they'd take me, and then I said, well, actually I wanted to do my A-levels first, so they held my place, and then I joined when I finished my A-levels. So I finished school on, I think, about the 21st of July, and I joined the army on the 4th of August, so hardly any break in between. And to be honest, being in the army in those days was a bit like being at school. You know, you had people telling you what to do all the time, and you kind of did what you were told, and the officers, you know, were a bit like the teachers, really. So actually the transition wasn't that great, other than the fact I had loads more time than I'd ever had before.
To join the WRC, did you go straight to the WRAC, or did you go straight to Kneller Hall and then to the band?
No, I went straight to the WRC. So I went there, we did 6 weeks basic training, where you learn to march and, you know, the basics of army and army administration. And then after 6 weeks I joined the band, and that was it. You were then in as a fully fledged musician, sat in the band and expected to hold your own like everybody else. That was in 1980, and about midway through 1981 they said I could come to Kneller Hall, and I jumped at the chance. So I came here in 1982.
Did you know about Kneller Hall?
Yeah, I knew about Kneller Hall before I ever joined the army, you know, so somebody had mentioned it to me that it was the military school of music, so that was kind of like the next thing on my list to do. Join the army, be a musician, go to Kneller Hall, tick.
Really, yeah. Why? Because of its reputation?
I think so, yes, yeah.
All right. When you went and joined after your A-levels, did you do any operational tours in that period, sort of 80, 81?
No, the band was always, we were a staff band, we were always based in Guildford. So we went away for weeks or 2 weeks or, you know, to various places. So we went to Canada, we'd go to Germany, Northern Ireland, and all around the UK. But we didn't actually up as a unit and go anywhere else.
What do you remember of your first day here? Do you remember your first day?
So I remember coming in the gate and being really quite excited, and then them palming us all off into a great big hall where, you know, they sort of put you into companies, and somebody came and checked your qualifications and looked at it, and I guess that was the first part of them deciding kind of where they were initially going to sit you and those kind of things. Meeting tons of people and being one of only 4 women on the course, which, you know, was quite daunting to begin with, but you get used to it.
How were you received as a woman, you know, in terms of there's like only 4 of you versus four companies? I mean, that is, you're very heavily outnumbered. What was it like back then for a woman or a girl?
Do you know, actually it was very good. They treated us with a good level of respect, and also I think as a bit of an unknown substance, if I'm honest. You know, they weren't really sure how we might react to things, so actually we were treated like young ladies, you know. So in some ways that was great, and in other ways it was frustration. And I'll give you one example. All the cornet players in the morning took it on a rota to do the bugle calls from the guard room, so last post, and not last post, but reveille and things like that. Now, I turned up to do mine, because obviously you've only got your rank and your name on the sheet, and they went, "Oh no, my dear, you don't do this. Off you go." Oh right, okay. I was quite looking forward to it, but no, we did switchboard duty instead. Obviously a much more ladylike pastime, but you know, it was those kind of things. But having said that, I mean, the guys kind of looked after us, but at the same time we eventually mucked in and became one of the band.
And where were you billeted then, if there's only 4 of you? Because most of the billets were for 8-man billets, weren't they?
We had a flat in Duke of Cambridge close at the bottom, so by the rugby ground.
Was that frustrating because you were off the site versus everybody else who's here?
No, I don't think it was actually, because we didn't leave the site here until quite late. I was a corporal, so I was in the corporal's mess, so you'd kind of finish, go home, eat a dinner and come back in the mess with everybody else in the evening, and then when they all went off to their rooms, we went back down to our flat at the bottom. So no, it was fine.
You've left the surrounds, you've gone out and you're out the gate. Obviously the key element to Kneller Hall and its position here is that it's very much a military establishment in the heart of a suburbia. Do you have any good stories of your sort of meeting and working with the community while you were here at Kneller?
We did. I don't remember doing very much with the community, but I do have one recollection with one of the local schools. One of our company bands was doing a rehearsal outside in front of the school, marching up and down, and quite clearly not delivering what the regimental sergeant major thought they should be, and he made them put down all their instruments and march up and down singing their parts. At this point a school was walking up past, and I remember looking out the window and seeing all these little faces looking through the bars, absolutely killing themselves laughing at all these soldiers marching up and down singing their parts. I don't know that the school got anything out of it, other than the fact that, you know, maybe sometimes the army got told off as well, the same as they did, but it was an amusing moment.
Did you never play up Whitton High Street or play at any of the Christmas do's or anything like that?
We did a Christmas concert actually in a hall at the top of Whitton one year. I remember doing that, but that was all.
What about the cafes, Bill's Cafe, Bill and Dick's Cafe?
Yeah, we went to the cafe, and we obviously used to use the Duke of Cambridge across the road as well. So.
Which cafe was your preference?
Do you know, I don't think I really had a preference as such. No.
1982 was a big year for bands, and big year for British military. It was also the year that the Hyde Park bombings and the Regent's Park bombings. Do you remember that?
I do remember those, yes, yeah. I mean, there was obviously a lot in the news about it, but perhaps the bigger one for me was the Falklands War, because one of the cooks that we had here on site actually went off to fight in the Falklands and was on the Sir Galahad and never came back. So that's probably it's more of a remembrance for me perhaps than some of the others.
And you knew this person?
Yeah, yeah.
What happens in the school when somebody from the school is killed then? I've never heard this story, so I'm curious to know.
So, to be honest, it kind of filtered back because he wasn't a musician, he was one of the cooks that were kind of attached. So it kind of filtered back round. We had an announcement in full band to tell everybody, but that was about it really.